Yo, what is up? It's your boy RD, day 4, and I came across this post to talk about for today's video, and it's about people recommending you stocks to pick, which is a very controversial topic in the investing world. So now, personally, I have dabbled in the whole stock investing world for some time. I did this between 2021 and 2022 ish. 2020 also I started getting interested with it and started playing with these free broker accounts where you play with fake money and try to invest in stocks and get a grip of that. Then I started to invest like real money and started to pick like actual stocks. I even have a TikTok video of me celebrating the first time my portfolio became green as a result of the stock surge. Because here's the thing: when you are actively investing, there are moments when the stocks go really up and when the stocks go really down. So I have dabbled in that. And it's been some time, so I have to slowly recall everything, as I say. So let's jump right into it. So, what I know as far as promoting stocks to investors go is that you cannot recommend a stock unless you are a financial advisor. Now, here's where the gray area is. You, if a stockbroker could essentially be like your financial advisor in a way, I do need to somehow clarify that if you can check this up and see. But I do, if I do recall correctly, you have to, well, you have to be a financial advisor, but I'm not sure if this applies to brokers. So that is something you have to check out. So here's what the people have to say: is it legal? And also, and now let me lay down the context before. Normally the thing is, I think it's my ADD brain. I don't know if it's ADD or just me being too much in a hurry. I don't know. I cannot diagnose myself with ADD. So maybe it is ADD, maybe it is not. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah, my fast thinking brain. Let's just say that. So this Reddit user has received a message for a stock recommendation, and they are basically suggesting him to buy Chevron lubricants. I know when the market ticker says Chevron, it's Chevron lubricants, and TJ Lanka. So my memory is not that bad. So it's TJ Lanka and Chevron. They are recommending to buy the actual stock as opposed to telling them the information as it is. Okay, the stock has gone up. Okay, the stock has gone down. They are suggesting buy. Now, is SoftLogic stockbrokers in a position to do that? Honestly speaking, they should not, because they are there now in Sri Lanka. They are like a facilitator, because the law in Sri Lanka is you cannot trade stocks without a stockbroker. He is basically a facilitator of trade, pretty much it. But from a financial advice perspective, can he really do this? When I worked with my broker, Asia Securities, they never gave as far as I remember clearly, they did not give buy options or sell options in terms of recommendations. They did tell projections, but that is different to suggesting a user to either buy a stock or sell a stock. Completely different. Okay, they gave recommendations because you can use certain formulas like, using the what you call, these are the ratios that I remember, but the price to earnings ratio, the price book value, use the what else, the earnings per share. Using all those ratios, you can come up to a conclusion, not a comprehensive conclusion. You need to read up the financial information, the history, the management. You have to do that research too. Basing your buying skills on formulas itself is not important. Then you have to go to the technical indicators sort of aspect of this if you want to regularly trade. One thing I learned from my 2021 2022 experience. And this is something I already knew because I was familiar with the ideas of Graham's investment methodology, that is to focus on value investment as opposed to looking at these short term signals and speculation. Just put the money and wait. Just put the money and wait. So that's the best sort of advice I could get from this. But going back to the topic, I always go off topic like this, so apologies for that. The stock that you pick should be based on research that you do, not based on or it could be an investment advisor's perspective who has the license to give you such this thing to such advice. For instance, when I was in a group, they discussed, and I was also in a forum, they kept on harping this point at your face. Do not invest in stocks just for the sake of what someone else told, or don't take my advice. They say that often, don't take my advice. So this is a little bit of something like this. So because they are a facilitator, I believe they cannot do this. I'm not sure of the exact law. Let me see. Let me just quickly search it up. Can a broker recommend stocks in Sri Lanka? I'm not looking at the AI overview because sometimes they can hallucinate it. Here's what it says. Will place your This is basically the Securities and Exchange Commission are basically the law behind the operation of the Colombo Stock Exchange. By the way, the Colombo Stock Exchange is uh, outside my view where I'm at. I'm not at home, by the way. I'm in Colombo. I had some work to do, but in the window looking, I can see the World Trade Center right in front of me. I know I don't on my camera, but I can see the World Trade Center where the stock exchange is at. So it's a walking distance. So I'm doing this real time with you, by the way. So can hold. It doesn't say anything about. Don't know if it's hallucinating. I hope it's not hallucinating because sometimes AI just hallucinates. So I don't mind the AI giving informative. Okay, I will check back on this and get back to you since this might take time. I should have done this research beforehand. It's my apologies. So these are some of the sentiments of the people on Reddit. So they say stay away from the soft logic companies because I mean let's be honest, soft logic, it's like this perception that soft logic is a little shady because of the original owner having certain affiliations with Mahinda Rajapaksa. So that's sort of the reason why there's this sort of shade. But I cannot tell you exactly that's the only reason why Soft Logic has a lot of claims. And also, if I remember correctly, there were some issues in terms of profitability for one of their uh, companies under their I think it's SoftLogic Life or something like that. It went in the news. If you can search it up, there were some issues with either revenue or profit. I don't know the exact details, but there could be issues in terms of mismanagement and whatnot. Not accusing them. I've heard of these rumors. You had to go and search it up and see for yourself. But here's what this guy says. Okay, isn't it basically the stockbroker's job to recommend you the stocks to look out for? This doesn't seem a bit okay. I'm getting a call. I'll be right back. So, sorry for that. I was just actually briefly reading through this, and okay, very interesting. Yeah, yeah, okay. I understand what the this user Madras underscore dream has to say, and no BS bitch has to say. Okay, I get that perspective, but I was coming from this from the perspective of, because the stockbrokers themselves are facilitators as opposed to investment advisors. Because generally speaking, I mean, maybe if you are becoming a stockbroker, maybe you need to have the certain credentials, so then you are in a position to make recommendations. Now, this option which Nobius, which is saying, is they don't blindly send SMS messages. Basically, what he's implying is they don't just blindly tell uh, stock options, right? So the way this can be misused is, like, for example, the stock tip, buy Chevron at 158.5 rupees per share, right? Uh, dividends, basically. So there's a dividend rate of 10.8%. Target 12 million. I think 12 million is the amount of stock. I don't know. I actually don't know what 12 million is. So the way this can be misused by the broker is they can, for example, the stockbroker owners, for example, the soft logic guy, Patirage, right? Those guys can say they have a stake in, for example, Chevron lubricants, for example, okay? This is a hypothetical. And they can have like a huge position, say 100 million rupees worth shares in Chevron. He wants to increase that, sell it off, and, do, I don't know, buy another fancy yacht or buy another house in Columbus or something, whatever it is. So they could inform their brokers, yo, put this stock tip out there where people buy Chevron lubricants, and people that the clients that work with soft logic brokers can go and buy this. And guess what? Boom. Okay, 50%, say 50% doesn't read this and like, bullshit, I'm not going to buy that. The other 50% is going to buy it. 50% buy it, the stock price goes up, and this guy can sell it. And for you non-stock nerds, that is illegal. That is fucking illegal. You can go to jail for that shit. Okay? You cannot just manipulate stock prices like that. That is not fair. The whole idea of the stock market is it should happen naturally. Okay? There cannot be artificial what you call maneuvering of the stock market. So on that principle alone, this is very risky. But in the event the stockbroker is a license holder, then yes, maybe like Madras underscore dream says, it's not crazy. He can or she can recommend the stock to you if she has the credentials to do it. But if he or she is just a normal guy who just invests like me, for example, I cannot tell you go and buy Expolanca stocks. Like, I cannot tell you that. I can tell you that, but I have to tell you I'm not a financial advisor. That is basically my way of protecting myself legally. So in case if you buy the stock and if you lose money and if you try to sue my ass, you cannot. So that's just what I want to share. Keeping it real quick now. I'm going to go from here. So yeah, that's it for my this video. I want to keep doing videos like this. This is great, but I definitely need to keep watching this, and maybe it really helps if I can get suggestions, because I want to improve on the content that I do. I don't want to do the same thing thinking it works, but it does not work. So I might need to change the format a bit. Maybe I think one thing's for sure, I want to be a bit more prepared when I go to this content. Let's see how it goes. So that's all. It's RD signing off. Peace.